Today we are learning how to compare and contrast characters in a story. What is the same and what is different about them? I'm going to read portions of the story Wemberly Worried by Kevin Hanks. Wemberly worried about everything. Wemberly worried in the morning, she worried at night, and she worried throughout the day. "You worry too much," said her mother. "When you worry, I worry," said her father. "Worry, worry, worry," said her grandmother. "Too much worry." Soon, Wemberly had a new worry: school. Wemberly worried about the start of school more than anything she had ever worried about before. While Wemberly's parents talked to the teacher, Mrs. Peachum, Wemberly looked around the room. Then Mrs. Peachum said, "Wemberly, there is someone I think you should meet." Her name was Jewel. She was standing by herself. She was wearing stripes. She was holding a doll. At first, Wemberly and Jewel just peeked at each other. "This is Petal," said Wemberly. "This is Niblet," said Jewel. Petal waved. Niblet waved back. "Hi," said Petal. "Hi," said Niblet. "I rub her ears," said Wemberly. "I rub her nose," said Jewel. We learned about two characters in the story. Their names were Wemberly and Jewel. As you can see, we're going to use a Venn diagram to compare, or tell how the characters are the same, and contrast, or tell how the characters are different. Let's think about how Wemberly and Jewel look. We could say that they both wear stripes. So since that's something that is comparing them, or telling about them both, it goes in the middle, where the two characters' circles overlap. We could also describe them as both being girl mice. But Wemberly has white skin and Jewel has brown skin, so that information about them goes in their own circles of the Venn diagram because it's different. It's contrasting them. Looking at them closely, I also see that they both hold a doll. And thinking back to the text, I remember that Wemberly's doll's name was Petal and Jewel's doll's name was Niblet. Now let's think about how the two characters act in the story, or think about things that they do. I remember seeing the characters on these pages, and we know from the text that Wemberly is worried. We can see her holding onto her mom's dress. But do you see Jewel in the corner, holding onto her doll? Does she look like she could be worried too? I think both characters seem worried, so that would go in the middle of our diagram. Back to the text, it read on this page, "I rub her ears," said Wemberly. "I rub her nose," said Jewel. So one way that they can be contrasted, or we could say that they are different, we would include in the diagram that Wemberly rubs her doll's ears, but Jewel rubs her doll's nose. We learned a lot about these two characters in the story by comparing and contrasting them with a Venn diagram. Be sure to ask your librarian where you could find Wemberly Worried by Kevin Hanks in your library, and you could learn more about these two characters. Great job! Today we learned how to compare and contrast characters in a story by telling what was the same and different about them.